Well, Facebook is looking to bounce back after a very rough week. It follows the massive outage right before that bombshell testimony from a whistleblower. Joining us now to explain more, Colin Campbell is an assistant professor of marketing at USC. Thank you, Colin, for being here. Many people talking about what happened with Facebook this week. I think a lot of people are also realizing how reliant we are on social media. The whistleblower shared testimony about what she saw during her time at Facebook. Based on everything that we learned, what was the most interesting part of that to you?
To be honest, the biggest surprise for me was how surprised everybody was by the testimony. Because I think a lot of the effects that came to light were already known, right? They've been researched and come up in academic studies and journals for many years now. So it's just surprising that people were so surprised.
Why were they surprised? I mean, she talked a lot about what was happening behind closed doors, that Facebook takes an interest in themselves more than people, and especially for teenage girls, that these sites are extremely damaging to them. But didn't we already kind of know that? We kind of already did. I think the surprising part for me was how much they actually know. Right, it revealed how much they know, like
how much Facebook knows. I think they knew. I knew that they knew a little bit, but you can kind of guess that based on them reading our research. But the depth and the information that they have is kind of shocking.
They know a lot.
They know a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so she comes out and she says this. She's talking about it. It's getting everybody talking now.
Yes.
Will this testimony, will what she is saying, change social media?
It might, right? I think the biggest change is potentially going to be with parents. I think parents are going to be more likely to probably be stricter and probably be more careful with like what their teenagers and what their kids are able to do on social media. So I think that's probably going to be the biggest effect to start.
Yeah, I have 4 very young kids, and when I heard this, you say parents, I wasn't planning on letting them be on social media anytime soon, but after hearing this information, I'm like, yeah, we're going to hold that back and do that. But what about regulations? There's so much talk, Colin, about this world of social media. It's just out there. It's like the wild, wild west. Anybody can say anything they want.
It's very true.
They're watching every single move.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of you at home, you're like talking to somebody, and then like 20 minutes later you pick up your phone and it's something that you're having like a conversation with somebody, an ad for something like that pops up on your feed, right?
It's interesting. I think that it really brings to light just how addictive social media is, and it's that way by design. If you think about it, the same principles that are used in casinos, positive reinforcement that's random, right? It's the same thing that's working with social media. When we go on, we don't know when, but we're going to get something happy that will bring us happiness happening, right? We're going to see, posts from a friend, we're going to get extra likes, we're going to get a comment or something, right? So we're drawn to go on social media because we want to get that positive random reinforcement. And so it's a really powerful mechanism to make people addicted to using a particular platform, or in this case, app.
Yeah, and you have the positive side of it. I love the positive side of it, but that other side.
Yeah.
And to hear and to know how much it's affecting a younger generation, now people are asking, will lawmakers step in? Will anybody do anything to really make some rules and guidelines for them?
I think it's likely to happen. I think there's a couple things on that. One is that we're seeing bipartisan support. So I think there's a stronger likelihood of that actually happening. I think the other thing as well is that the regulators are more likely to come in and step in if we're seeing it damaging vulnerable groups. I think the fact that it's come out that it's happening to teenagers and children will make us more likely to see some sort of regulation around that realm.
Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, I think those were the 3 on Monday, went down, and all of us were like, what is going on? What is happening? And it was a big wake-up call for a lot of people for us to realize, wow, we are so into these phones and so reliant. Small businesses lost quite a bit of money on Monday in that 6 hours that it was down. So what are our takeaway from Monday, and how ironic that it went down the day after the whistleblower stuff came out, just saying.
It's interesting, yeah. I think that, for businesses, it shows how much we go on social media because they're making money because we're on it. Right, and I think for us, it also brought to light just how often we look at it, right? So we're going on our phones, and we're like, oh, it's still down. Oh, it's still down, right? And we're like, oh, I've checked Instagram now 10 times in the last hour. Wow, I didn't know that,
Okay, so there has to be a lesson for us to learn. If lawmakers are not going to regulate it right now, we can regulate ourselves. What is the lesson for all of us to learn after what happened over the weekend and on Monday?
I think the biggest thing is to be aware of the effects, be aware of what it's doing to us and what the algorithms are designed to do, right? There's options. You can go into your phone on an Apple or an Android device and you can limit how much time you give to Instagram and give to Facebook. So if you don't like it, go in and restrict that. The other one as well too is feel free to mute people, right? If there's that friend who's always on vacation that makes you feel bad, feel free to block that person or hide that person so you don't see that, right? And the other thing as well too is, ultimately, you don't have to be on social media to be social. So if you don't like it, if you're not feeling, a positive effect, just let it go, delete it. It's okay.
You don't have to be on social media to be social.
It's true. Yeah, it's hard, but it's true.
Is it though, Colin? Okay, we'll talk more about that. Colin Campbell, Assistant Professor of Marketing at USD, thank you for your time.